no mas, I think is the expression.
Yeah,
no mas.
right there with you.
Thank you, Steve. Happening right now, lawmakers still grinding it out at the state capitol. They're working to get that budget done before tomorrow night's deadline.
Now, so far, we know the governor and leadership members have agreed on a $142 billion plan, which includes ethics reform, an economic revitalization initiative, and even more money for education.
Capitol reporter Kimberly Howard live at the Capitol tonight with what we could expect in the next few hours. And I imagine they're going to be at it pretty hard and heavy there.
They are, Liz and Cody. We're expecting them to be working into the late hours tonight. You can see they're still working here behind me, actually working on passing portions of the budget that are set in stone. But as you mentioned, there are a couple of components that aren't clearly finalized just yet. One of those major components being education. The clock is ticking. Despite a three-way agreement on the state's spending plan tentatively in place, budget talks continue on the specifics.
I's are being dotted and the T's are being crossed.
Lawmakers admit this year's budget has been difficult, with policy issues ranging from teacher evaluations to ethics reform being tied into the fiscal language.
It was like one large Stromboli with a lot of different ingredients, and now it's been thinned right out.
The leadership announced a $142 billion budget framework Sunday night, which includes a 6% boost to education funding. The $23 billion in funding makes for the largest increase the state has given New York schools in years. But just how that money will be divvied up and when schools will get it is still up in the air.
Are they able to get the financial assistance before the school year starts, during the school year, or after? So that gives you an idea of how far down to the wire we're negotiating this.
We know that there will be an increase in aid to education of $1.4 billion. Some of it is expense driven. There will be a significant reduction in the gap elimination, well over 50%.
But lawmakers don't yet know how the state's teacher evaluation system will be altered, only that the new process will rely less on student test scores and more on the Board of Regents. The state's largest teachers union is uneasy.
The devil is still in the details. We have nothing formalized in writing. I've done enough contracts to know that conceptually you come to agreement, and then when you start to write it all down, you all of a sudden realize a lot of things.
Still, lawmakers are confident they'll meet the midnight deadline. It just might be close.
As for those who are traveling from out of town, we're told, keep your hotel room for Wednesday.
And the final vote must be made, as we mentioned, by the stroke of midnight on Wednesday. Coming up at 5:30, we'll have more on how these proposed ethics reforms could affect some local schools in the area, as well as how lawmakers will be held accountable with ethics reform. That's coming up at 6. We're live at the Capitol. Kimberly Howard, CBS 6 News.